but we'll just read some of the things that they have about Crystalac. And if you use Crystalac, please feel free to put in the comments why you chose to switch from epoxy and what are some pros and cons of Crystalac if you use it. Alright, so first things first, we're going to start with sublimation and eco-solvent, since it's the newest thing that I recently just added to my arsenal. So, sublimation, eco-solvent. Sublimation, we're going to start with that first. So sublimation is a special type of ink that uses heat to transfer to whatever you're transferring it to. You have to use a sublimation paper. So I use, hello, good morning. I use HTV Ront sublimation paper. I have 8.5 by 11 because my printer is a 2720 and I can only print 8.5 inches wide, but I can print up to how many inches long. So, yes, make sure you self-promote in the comment section. So, sublimation has to have a sublimation paper and sublimation ink, and it has to have heat to transfer the image to whatever you're pressing it to. So, a lot of people say that sublimation is more versatile, which I can agree to that certain extent, but sublimation is also limited because it has to have either a special coating that can take sublimation or a high polyester. So sublimation loves, I'm going to say the word sublimation a lot. I'm just going to say sub. So sub loves polyester. The higher the polyester count, the brighter the sub image is going to be. So that's why you see a lot of bleached t-shirts. It's 65% poly and 35% cotton because polyester does not bleach, but cotton does. So if you're going to do bleached t-shirts, you got to have the both. You got to have the polyester and you have to have the cotton because polyester does not bleach whatsoever, but the cotton does. So, and the higher the poly count, the brighter your sub image is going to be. Okay. And with sub, you're very limited to what shirts you can print it on because you can't go too dark because sub does not print white. Okay. It only prints color. And a lot of people get confused about that with sublimation ink. It's not DTF. It does not print white. It only prints color. So if your design has white in it, you have to print it on a white shirt. Okay? Or you can print it on top of glitter HTV. I know a lot of brands have the glitter HTV. This is from HTV Ront. This is their rainbow HTV vinyl. You can sublimate on top of this glitter HTV. Okay? It was made specifically for either using by itself or using with sublimation ink on top of it. Okay, you can get this from Amazon. This is their purple rainbow. They call it purple rainbow glitter HTV. I want to say for a 6-foot roll, I want to say it's like $16, which is not very that expensive. Okay, so you can sublimate on top of some glitter HTVs, or what you can use is you can also use. I know Sisser has the little sheets you can actually sublimate to, but they can get kind of pricey. So to me, sublimation is limited as far as color and what you can print on. With eco-solvent, it's a little bit different. Okay? So anyone have questions about sublimation before I move on to eco-solvent a little bit? Now, sublimation you can do on tumblers. Like I have 20-ounce tumblers that I sublimate to. You can use a heat press. I use a tumbler press. You can use your Cricut mug press. I've done that before. Or you can just use just a plain oven. There's a lot of misconception that people think that you have to have pressure to use sublimation, and it's not true. With sub, all you really need is heat. It loves heat. It uses the heat to activate because when the heat comes in contact with the ink turns into a vapor and it transfers to whatever it's touching. That's why it's very important when you're doing sublimation tumblers that you wrap it really, really tight so the image is touching the cup all the way around. Because whatever sublimation is not touching, when you go to cook it, if it's not touching it, it's not going to transfer properly. And then you'll get ghosting, which is, we don't want ghosting, okay? So they have a lot of different sub blanks you can use. I do mouse pads and I do tumblers. It's my most thing that I sublimate to. I do a few shirts, but I don't really do too many. I don't get a lot of requests for sublimation shirts, but I get more requests for sublimation tumblers, so I do those quite often. Okay? Any questions about sublimation? I'm jumping right into it this morning because we got a lot of ground to cover. And if we can't cover it all in one time, then we have to definitely do a part 2. I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible during this power hour of what's the difference. So any questions? Today's cup is sponsored by Jackie. She made this cup for me. It's a color changing cup too. I love this cup. All right. So I don't see any questions coming in. So we're going to move on to EcoSolvent. So EcoSolvent, thank you. So I just recently got into EcoSolvent, so I'm still bumping my head a little bit when it comes to this method. Now, EcoSolvent is a water-based ink that you have to print onto white printable vinyl. Good morning. So this is the Scissor Color Print Easy. It's a white printable vinyl. You see it's very thin, very flexible. It's like it's flexible like as a piece of paper. You see the flexibility is quite the same. This is the part I was waiting for. So this is the Color Print Easy by Scissor. Now this method is kind of, it's on the more expensive side because you have to buy the roll of paper. And the roll of paper can be very expensive. Depends on how wide you want it and how long you want the paper to be. So I bought 20-inch long HTV vinyl. It's a printable HTV because my printer can print up to 13 inches wide and 19 inches long. So that's why I chose the 20-inch paper. So I got it, I want to say by 30 feet, and it was $178 for the paper. So the paper is quite expensive, okay? So you already know I'm already looking for vendors overseas for the same paper. Y'all know that, right? So this paper is $178 a roll for 30 feet. So it can be kind of pricey. But you have a little bit more, in my opinion, you're a little bit more versatile when it comes to printable HTV because it doesn't matter what material, what color, or anything, you can print to this and then press it to whatever shirt you want. So it doesn't have to be a certain material. You can print to whatever HTV vinyl can be printed to. So that's cotton, polyester, spandex. That's a whole bunch of different things. Okay. The tote bag, like the muslin, the canvas, anything that can take 300 degrees for 15 seconds, you probably can press to this. I pressed it to plastic and it pressed beautifully and it stayed on really, really well. So this is printable HTV. I just seen your page. Yay! And it has two different sides. So it has a glossy side. You can kind of see the reflection. And it has a matte side. Now the matte side is the side you want to print to. Okay? And same thing with sublimation. So you see a HTV right has their logo on the back. That's the back side. You want to print to the plain white matte side. Okay? And the one good thing about the HTV round sublimation paper is the ink dries extremely fast. And it has a 98% ink release or greater every time. So this paper is really nice. It weeds beautifully when you actually figure out your cut settings. And I use a Cameo when I'm doing my EcoSolvent. So I have to learn a double learning curve. So I have to learn a new machine and a new design program. And I have to learn a whole new material to do EcoSolvent. Because it is definitely a learning curve. Especially when I'm used to using Cricut. And I have to switch to a Cameo. So I'm still bumping my head. I always reach out for help when I cannot figure out the silhouette. But they do also have different types of paper for the printable HTV. They do have a silver glittery HTV by Scissor that you can purchase also. Good morning. But of course, also that costs more. So, if I were to make a shirt right now, I will probably lean more towards EcoSolvent because I feel like I have a lot more versatility. Now, with that being said, some cons to EcoSolvent. If your design is distressed or has a lot of small lines, it's going to be difficult to cut it out, okay? Especially with the Cameo, because the Cameo doesn't miss nothing. It cuts everything. If it's a transparent PNG, it will cut everything, okay? Everything. So you have to alter the image a little bit to make it easier for your machine to cut it out. That's kind of the only downfall to EcoSolvent as compared to DTF. Now, I don't do DTF, but DTF, it prints the image just as is, and then it prints the white on the back, and then you can press it to your shirt. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but I went with this one because EcoSolvent was cheaper than trying to transfer or transition to DTF. But if I do DTF, I'm going straight with the direct-to-fabric machine. I'm not going to print transfers and then print to a t-shirt. I'm printing straight to a t-shirt. So I'm saving money. So it is a little bit more difficult as far as printing your image. If it has a lot of like distress or a lot of small lines, it will be quite difficult. But then you can always add an offset to kind of help with your machine to cut those out a little bit more properly. So that's kind of the downfall to EcoSolvent and compared to DTF. DTF, it just prints the image as it is and then prints the white on the back. Good morning. But then you're also limited to printing to printable HTV vinyl. So you don't have the versatility of the sublimation when you can print to other things to help make your design better. You're only restricted to printing on printable HTV. So that's kind of the downfall of it. Any questions about EcoSolvent before we move on or I continue on? Thank you for the follows. How does it hold up when you wash it? Perfectly. So I'm glad you asked that. I made a few EcoSolvent shirts and I washed them normally. Of course, turning it inside out, but it washed beautifully. The colors still remain the same. So EcoSolvent ink is waterproof because it's water-based ink. So the ink is waterproof and it's scratch resistant. Okay, and also when you go to pull it, it keeps and maintains its shape because the paper is very flexible. So this paper can take a tugging and not lose its shape even on a shirt. So it held up really well. How much is a tumbler 20 ounce? As far as what, sublimation, or this is not I didn't make this cup. I bought this from another creator. Okay. What tip do you press? So for EcoSolvent, you press at 300 degrees for 15 seconds. So it's on a lower temperature than what you would press certain HTV vinyls, usually call for 320. But I press it at 300 degrees for 15 seconds, and I peel it while it is hot, and then I peel again. The one on your page, the sublimation tumblers. Do you want it blank or something printed on it? But we'll mess each other off of the live stream. I want to try to stay focused today. I got a lot of ground to cover. So 300 degrees, 15 seconds, about medium to firm pressure. And then I always do a quick double tap, and I press it again for about 5 to 6 seconds. The feel of the shirt. It feels like, it doesn't feel hard. You know how when you layer vinyl, it gets really, really tough? It doesn't feel like that. It literally just feels like vinyl. Like one layer of vinyl, what it feels like. It's a little bit, when you press it, it is a little bit stiffer, but I don't mind it. And I'm a real stiffler when it comes to materials being pressed to shirts and how stiff they are. This one is good. I like the way it feels. I like the way it washes. I like the way it presses. I like the way it irons. It's really nice. I like it. And y'all know I stress test the crap out of this material. So when I pressed it, I was like stretching it. When I washed it, I was like, we're going to wash it on like the worst settings possible to wash this shirt. And it held up like that's all you got. So therefore, it holds up nicely against washing machine. It stretches well and it kept its shape. So overall, it didn't flake, didn't crack, none of that type of stuff. So overall, sister for the win. I do like the EcoSolvent. Okay. Any other questions? And the brand of ink that I use is Vibrant Vibes Ink. Shonda! So, Vibrant Vibes Ink, they also do have a TikTok. So I buy my ink through Vibrant Vibes, and they have a website, and they also have an Etsy. Okay? All right. Any other questions before I move on to permanent vinyl and HTV? So there's a lot of different methods to make shirts. It just depends on what your customer is looking for. So like I said earlier in a previous live stream, mine gets delivered tomorrow. Nice. So always make sure you have different tiers for different pockets. You never want to have anyone feel limited or less than to get something from you. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, not too low where you don't make a profit. Keep that in mind too. So HTV is always my lowest costing shirt. $25 for a shirt with HTV, period. It's just the way it is because it's the cheapest thing. Sublimation is a little bit of a higher tier. And then, of course, EcoSolvent is the most expensive because the paper costs a lot. It's a $200 paper for 30 feet of it, okay? So, but just know, when you start EcoSolvent, you're gonna waste a lot of paper because you gotta figure out your color settings. You gotta figure out your cut settings. So you're gonna blow through your first roll of Sister Easy Color Print Easy. So just be prepared, sis. You're gonna blow through that first roll rather quickly, okay? All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to HTV vinyl and permanent vinyl. Now, of course, you cannot use permanent vinyl for t-shirts. How do you center your print? I just eyeball it mostly. I really do. But a lot of the shirts have a tag in the back. So I line up the tag with the opening in my heat press, and I use that. But you also can get shirt centers. I know HTV Ron has one. I know you're going to hear a lot of HTV Ron. That's my sponsor. So they have this shirt helper. It's acrylic, and they have a lot of small businesses on TikTok that actually make these. This will help you keep your shirt centered. Let me turn it the right way. It's helping you keep your shirt centered. It also gives you a guideline about what size shirt, how big the image should be. Now, you have to keep in mind that HTV Ron is a Chinese-based business. So their sizing of shirts are different because we in the U.S., we like to eat. Okay? So our sizes are a little bit different than overseas sizes. So I don't usually go, some of their sizes are pretty good, but I usually don't use their recommended inch sizes on their little scale here. But it's a good scale though. I use it quite often when I just can't eyeball it the right way. I do bust this out to line it up on my shirt. So it lines up at the collar and it has your inches down and you can line it up here center wise. Okay. I got that from Amazon, I believe for $12 to $14. Okay. But most of the time I eyeball it. I lay it down, eyeball it, pick it up, make adjustments, and go from there. So I probably adjust my design for a shirt probably 10, 15 times before I press it. And I always tape it down with heat tape. Okay? So we got that out the way. We talked about sublimations. We talked about eco-solvent, which I wanted to talk about that first because I knew it was the most interesting thing that people wanted to hear about. All right, so now let's talk about permanent vinyl and HTV. So HTV, as you can see, there's an obvious difference between the two. The HTV is more shiny. The permanent vinyl is a lot more matte because it's a matte type of vinyl. Also, the backing is different. The permanent vinyl has it's adhesive, so it has a different type of backing. Where the HTV, it doesn't have a backing. It has like a plastic backing on the back. Okay, so you would print. You would cut it with the matte side. So this is more matte than this side. So you would print it with the glossy side down on your cutting machine. Because when you use HTV, you have to make sure you mirror the image. If you're printing on HTV and you hold it up and you can read it correctly, you printed it or you cut it the wrong way. So with HTV vinyl, you have to make sure you reverse your image because when you press it, you'll be pressing it this way. So you're pressing it right side down. How do you plan your course? And is your course only for women? Course for what? My power hours are for anybody, male, female, no matter what age. Yes, so don't forget to mirror. But the good thing about Cricut is when you click on the HTV, it will say, warning, make sure you mirror your image. Because there have been so many times where I forgot to mirror my image, or I'll mirror the offset and not mirror the text. Or I'll mirror the text and not mirror the offset. So make sure when you're doing anything with heat transfer vinyl, always mirror your image, okay? Always, always, always mirror your image. I put little side notes and things on my little sticky notes in front of my desk. Mirror your image. But Cricut will actually tell you, warning, make sure you mirror your image when you click on HTV. Okay, now I have a Cricut Maker and I have the Cricut Maker 3. So I can do Smart HTV. I can also do regular HTV. So Smart HTV is Cricut's way of going matteless. And you can cut with no matte. But it has to be Smart Vinyl because the Smart Vinyl is 13 inches wide. Okay, so and the same thing, print with the shiny side down. And you're going to cut with it mirrored. Okay, so that's the difference between HTV and eco-solvent. So eco-solvent, you do not mirror your image. You print the image just as it is because you're going to weed it from here and print it straight to the shirt. HTV vinyl, you have to mirror your image because you're going to be cutting it backwards and placing it the right way on top of your shirt or whatever you're pressing it to. So that's the difference between eco-solvent and HTV. HTV you mirror, eco-solvent you don't. She's a great session. Thanks. We'll be back later. I will post it to YouTube so you don't miss anything. Permanent vinyl. So permanent vinyl is not ideal for shirts. It's not heat transfer vinyl. It's permanent vinyl to transfer to hard surfaces like plastic, metal, acrylic, things of that nature. So it does have a paper backing because it is adhesive to itself. So when you peel the vinyl back, it has a sticky adhesive side on the back. You hear it? It's sticky. Now with HTV does not have an adhesive backing because it transfers via heat. It sticks with heat, okay? So when you go to peel this back, let me peel back a little bit. So when you go to peel this back, it will not have a sticky adhesive side. So you have to be careful when you're weeding out HTV because if you weed out the wrong thing, it's not going to stick back to itself. It's not going to stick back to the backing, okay? It's just going to stay gone. So be careful when you're weeding out regular HTV vinyl. That's why in doubt, I always pull up. It's always so hard to separate this too. Oh my goodness gracious. That's why I always pull up my reference. Whenever I don't know what needs to be weeded out, I always pull up my image on my Cricut Design Space before I start. Look at me struggling. There we go. It's very hard to separate. That and I don't have my nails on. And of course, on live, things always go bad. But when you separate, it does not stick back to itself. So the backing is a hard plastic. So HTV has its own masking. So when you're cutting it, you want to cut it with the masking side down, or the shiny side. Because when you peel it, you will use the masking that comes with it to press it to your shirt. But I'm trying to show an example of how it doesn't stick back to itself. But you guys get my drift. Jackie, I'm finally using your cup. This cup is sponsored by Jackie. She just came into the live stream. This is her vinyl work. Absolutely amazing. For those who watch anime, this is Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. So I originally bought his sister, but she threw this one in for me, and I enjoyed it so much. And it's a color-changing cup. I love this cup. Okay. So permanent vinyl. So for those that do epoxy tumblers or do the Starbucks tumblers that are acrylic, you will use permanent vinyl. Okay? Permanent vinyl. I use Tech Wrap permanent vinyl most of the time. They're my favorite vinyl to kind of go to because it weaves and cuts very nicely, especially for smaller fonts. It does keep the consistency a lot better. So I've tried a lot of different permanent vinyl. I don't discriminate against permanent vinyl. I just choose to use Tech Wrap more than usual because that's the brand that I like to use. But I also don't really do a lot of permanent vinyl anymore. I do a lot more of the Eco Solvent and the sublimation because I do mostly tumblers and I do mostly shirt prints. But when the time does come, I do bust out my HTV and I also do epoxy tumblers. So I do use permanent vinyl. As you can see, my holder is full of both permanent and HTV vinyl. Also, getting organized with your vinyl will help a lot. I bought this holder from Michaels. It was $39. And it holds my permanent and my HTV vinyl. My permanent vinyl is at the top. When we get to right there, that yellow is when my HTV vinyl starts all the way down. Okay? Now, if you're looking for permanent vinyl or HTV vinyl for a lot cheaper, I do have a vendor list on my website called The Plug, where I actually found the manufacturers of HTV RON and the manufacturers of Tech Wrap and the manufacturers of a lot of different popular vinyls. I found the original manufacturers and they are in my Plug vendor list on my website. Check that out at onecraftyMama20.com. Okay? Or click the link in my bio. All right, so that's permanent vinyl. Permanent vinyl comes in a lot of different colors, prints. But I know if you have regular printable adhesive vinyl, if you go into Cricut, you can actually make your own printable vinyl. So I just found that out too from another TikTok. So you can make your own printed adhesive vinyl. Okay? All right. So that's HTV and permanent vinyl. Any questions about HTV and permanent vinyl? The topic today is what's the difference? So we're talking about the difference between sublimation and Eco Solvent, HTV and permanent vinyl, Cricut and Cameo, epoxy and Crystalac today. I love this live. So informative. Thank you very much. How do you make it? How do I make what? So this shirt is made with HTV. It is HTV. This shirt is HTV. Thank you for the follows, guys. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. So that's HTV and permanent vinyl. Any questions on HTV and permanent vinyl before we move on to another big topic of Cricut and Silhouette? Because this is a big one. This is a big one. And which one I prefer between the two, because now I have both machines. Okay. The printable vinyl. So if you go into, I'll have to do another class for printable vinyl, but you actually have to buy printable adhesive vinyl, which you can get off of Amazon, by like 50 sheets. They're not very expensive. Nice. How long have you been crafting? Well, I've been crafting for about 1.5 years, so not for very long. But I expanded and grew rather quickly. But there's actually a function when you go to, I have to do a video, Brian. Remind me to do a video. I don't want to waste a lot of time on how to do certain things. So I'll go into that a little bit different. I am going to be doing a Cricut class very, very soon. But I'm probably going to do it via Zoom, though. So you have to sign up for this class. All right. So, Cricut and Silhouette. All right. This is another big topic of Team Cricut and Team Silhouette. So before we even start talking about it, who is Team Cricut and who is Team Silhouette? Let's see. Who's Team Cricut and who's Team Silhouette? And I will give you my opinions between the two now that I own both machines. While I put this away and turn on my machines, y'all let me know. Which one are y'all? Team Cricut or Team Silhouette? I'm curious to see who's who in the neighborhood. Who is who? Who's Team Cricut and who's Team Silhouette? I see Cricut, Silhouette, Cricut, Silhouette. I have both. I do too. Silhouette. I'm Team neither. I own both. She said, I'm Switz. Silhouette now. Cricut at the moment. I'm a team with StarCraft Solo. I've heard they're really, really nice. I bought my daughter a Cricut. Doesn't use it, so I need to. Team Cricut. Hello. Both Cricut, but I don't know what the other is. Good morning. So, I have both the Cricut and the Silhouette. Cameo. I bought the big boy. I have the Silhouette Cameo 4 Pro. So, it's a 24-inch cutter. This thing is intense, okay? Let me move my chair out the way so you guys can see. So I knew this was a big topic, and a lot of people were asking who is better. I can only give you my opinions and with the experience that I've been using it for. So I only use my Cameo for EcoSolvent only. I have not cut any vinyl on this or anything like that. I only cut and do print and cut for EcoSolvent. That was the main purpose of me buying a Silhouette machine. Okay? I got the Cameo 4 Pro also. And this bad boy is intense. Okay? So, this is Big Boy. So, Big Boy cuts 24 inches wide. So, that's why I got him. He's 34 inches wide in total, as far as like the siding and things like that. This is my Cricut Maker 3. I also own the Cricut Maker. It cuts on the mat 12 inches, off the mat 13. But off the mat, you can cut up to, I believe, 6 feet of vinyl at one time. So, as far as you can always, you can also see the size difference. Let me take my little bracket over here so I can show you the size difference between the Cameo 4 Pro and the Cricut Maker 3. So, this is the sizing difference between the two. So you guys can see exactly what I'm working with here. Because this thing is a big boy. Okay? It's a big boy. I call him Big Boy for a reason. So, this is the sizing difference between the two machines. So as you can see, the Cameo is huge compared to the Cricut Maker. Okay? Cricut Maker is huge. I mean, the Cameo is huge. Okay? So, it's really big. So let me look at these comments. I feel like I'm missing a lot of comments. Hold on, y'all. Y'all see my dirty room. All right. So let's go back through the comments. I feel like I'm missing a lot of stuff. Okay. I got the Cameo 4 Pro. I like the Cricut, but I prefer Silhouettes because it prints bigger. Yes, it does. I love my Cameo 2. I need the 4 Pro. Girl, this 4 Pro it's a monster. I'm converting my 15,000 on Saturday. What settings for color print easy on Cameo 4? It depends on what type of computer you have. If you have a MacBook or you have an HP. Now, so far, my MacBook used to work with my 15,000. Now it doesn't want to print for me. So I have to print for my HP. They use them. Have you used them all at once? I have. I've used both machines at the same time at one time. Because now I use 2 different computers and someone's printing on my printer. I use my HP for my Cameo and I use my Mac for my Cricut. So my MacBook just stopped talking to my 15,000 all of a sudden. I don't know why. How did you flip the camera during your live? I can never figure it out. If you go to Enhance, I believe it's Enhance. Yes, go to Enhance and go to Flip Camera. Is the business software different in the Cameo 4 than the lesser models? I believe the software is still the same. I have the Cricut Air 2. I still have my Cricut Air 2, actually. You're welcome. So, it just depends on what laptop you have. My mom is printing off papers during my live stream. So, these are the mats. So, Cricut mats are like this. This is one from HTV Ront. As you can hear, they're really thick. compared to the Silhouette mats that are a lot thinner. So the mat difference, this is a 15-inch mat from Silhouette. So they go a little bit wider. So it's a 14-inch technically. It's a 14 by 15. This is a 12 by 12 mat by Cricut. So you automatically can see the difference between both of the mats. Okay, so the Cricut mats are a lot thicker, and I like the thicker cutting mats compared to the Silhouette mats that are a little bit thinner. So when you go to actually feed this mat into your machine, sometimes it can slip, but you have to align your guides properly. As you can see, my guide stays right there to be able to hold your mat in place. Cut settings on Cameo Pro for eco-solvent, color print easy. I use 6, 5, and 5, but I'm finding out that 6 is a little bit too deep. So I would definitely, you got to play around with it because you got to work on that kiss cut. And kiss cut is a whole different topic. Hi, how are you? Now, I will say this. The Cameo is a lot quieter when you turn it on compared to the Maker. The Maker is a little bit on the loud side, okay? Maker is quite loud compared to the Cameo. The Cameo just kind of turns on and then that's it. But it is a lot more intense. So as you can see, well, you can't see because I didn't turn my camera. So give me a second. Let me turn my camera back. Let me flip the camera. So as you can see, this is the Maker opened. So it has a little switch here. When you open the top, the bottom automatically comes out. When the Cameo, it has this little lid where you pull it out and it comes down. So to me, I like the closure of the Cricut a lot better than the Cameo because I feel like it's more protected because it's all the way fully closed inside the machine. Where the Cameo has that small little gap. So if anything bad happens, it can still get the machine damaged. Okay. So I feel more secure when I'm closing up my machines with the Cricut than I do the Cameo because the Cameo just has this pull down and that's it. You see that space? That space gives me pause. Okay. That space gives me pause to no end, but the Cricut fully closes itself in. So as you can see, it does have the same 2 dials. It has part A and part B. This one has 1 and it has 2. So it does have a cutting option. I think I want to say it has 2 different cutting options you can put in each one. And this one has a writing tool or scoring, and then it has a cutting tool. Their cutting, theirs are reversed. So their cutting is on the right and Silhouette's cutter is on the left. So it's a little bit different, but I like the fact because it has a lot of different customizations you can do with Silhouette that you cannot do with the Cricut Maker to an extent. You can customize with Cricut, but it's just a little bit of a longer process. But with Cameo, it's a lot quicker and a lot more precise when you're doing your customization for your cutting, your depth, your pressure, your speed. You can adjust the speed on the Cameo more than you can on the Cricut. Yes, this is the Cameo 4 Pro. This is the big boy. He cuts 24 inches. He is 34 inches wide compared to the Maker. So you have a lot more customization with the Cameo than you do with the Cricut as far as like depth and things of that nature. So I really feel like you have a lot more you can customize with the Cameo than you do with the Cricut. So Cricut is very basic. So when Cricut first came out, it was originally designed for those doing paper crafts. We as crafters and consumers have pushed Cricut way past their limitation. And then we get upset when they come up with machines that cost thousands of dollars. Well, originally they were not meant for us. They were meant for those that were scrapbooking and doing paper crafts. Because the first Cricut, I used to have the first Cricut. So the first Cricut had cartridges, and all they really did was to do paper products like cards and things like that with cardstock. But when pandemic happened, everyone went to crafting from home, and now they threw in vinyl, and they threw in HTV, and they're still trying to figure it out themselves as Cricut because we pushed them past their limit. Okay, they were not meant for industrial printing like the Cameo is. The Cameo is more for industrial printing. Those that have a printing business because they can print wider and they can print longer. The Cricut was not designed for that. Okay, it was designed for mostly paper crafts. So we can't really get too upset when Cricut wants to charge so much money because we pushed them past their limit. You know what I'm saying? So, but the good thing about the Cameo is you can use your Cricut mats on your Cameo. Okay, so I've used my Cricut mats for the smaller images for prints before, but I do not recommend, if you get the 24-inch cutter, do not use that 24-inch cutting mat. It is horrible. I do not like it. It does not feed in correctly. It's trash. 0 stars. Do not recommend. Okay? I recommend getting the 15-inch mat or the 12 by 24 mat that they have from Cameo. Okay? Now, you can see a difference. This is the 12 by 24 mat by Cameo. And you can see the difference between the 15 and the 12 by 24. I want to learn how to use the Cameo. I'm still figuring it out myself. Yes, supply and demand. Absolutely right. I'm going to go back through these comments real quick. Is that the Pro? Yes, it is. That was for Cameo Pro settings. For Color Print Easy, I have an HP. I'll make a video about that at a later time. I want to focus on what we're talking about right now because I'm getting ready to run out of time. So we're going to definitely have to do a part 2 for this. I think I missed a comment. Hold on. If something about, I want to start HTV prints with the Cameo. We'll be able to cut them. Cricut is, yes, Cameo will be able to cut as big as your mat or your printer can handle. I have a 13 by 19 printer, so my images are anywhere between 13 inches. Okay? But you also have to keep an account for registration marks. So with Cameo registration marks, you can adjust your registration. That's one thing I loved about Cameo. You can actually make your registration marks more inward or more outward to get more printer space. But you're still limited to how wide your printer can print. Let's see. I've used my Silhouette Cameo 4 in a year and never used it because they said you have. I'm so mad I'm late. It's okay. I'll post it to YouTube. Pay to you, Vinyl. Do you have classes online on how to get started using either? I do not, but I do plan on doing a Cricut class in I don't know a lot about Silhouette, but I can teach you all that I learned. I do plan on doing a class here pretty soon. All right, so let's hop back to it. So one thing is the difference between both of the mats. As you see on the 15-inch mat, you see that little slit right there? That's what helps you guide your mat into the Silhouette machine. Okay? But on the 12 by 24-inch mat, it does not have that slit. So it's a little bit different when you go to feeding your machine. Now, we all know, and one thing that I do like about the Cricut is that when you feed in your machine, it's foolproof. You know exactly where it goes. These 2 prongs hold your mat. Now on this Cameo, y'all. On this Cameo, it does not work like that. Okay? So on the Cameo, you definitely have to pay attention to where you're putting your mat at. Because it's not really like a for sure, oh, it goes right here. So you see these 2 little lines, which you probably don't because my phone, let me pick my phone up. So you see these 2 little lines right here. These these are the 2 lines that tell you where to put your mat. So if you have that 15-inch mat and it has that little box, you would line it up here. But if you don't have that, you have the 12 by 24-inch mat, you need to line it up right here. So there is a difference between the 2. So, and trust me, how you line it up on your machine will determine how it will print it out. If you do not line it up correctly, your cut will be off, no matter the registration mark, okay? So make sure, because that's important. That's important. So that 15-inch mat has the extra block. It goes there. For mats that don't have that, will be lined up right here. Okay? So make sure you keep that in mind when you go to line up your machine or line up your mat for your machines, because there is a difference between the 2. Okay? And one thing I do like about the Cameo, it has a lot of guide pieces that will help you keep your mat in place. And each of these triangles have a distance. So for most of like the 12-inch mats, we'll usually go on anywhere on these 3 triangles. Okay? And then these are your guides that help keep your mat straight when you upload it into your machine. Another good thing about the Cameo, see this little lever right here? That actually lifts up and lowers your bar. So if you want to lift it up to apply your mat and then close it back down, you absolutely can. Now, let's go ahead and turn this big boy on. And I'm going to show you a few things that I like on turn on and that I like about the Cameo when you're trying to feed in your mat. Because there's a lot of good things that happen when you try to feed in your mat to this Cameo. Okay, let me lower the camera down a little bit. Let me get my cord. Now the cord is not very long. I'm used to the Cricut cord, which is a lot longer. So the Cameo cord is a little bit shorter than the Cricut cord. But I don't really use it too far away from its power source anyway, because it's right next to it. So I don't really have to worry about plugging in. But the Cricut cord is a lot longer than the Cameo cord. So when you buy a Silhouette, keep in mind of where you're going to put it, because your cord does not travel very far. Okay? It does not travel very far. So here's what the cord looks like. That's what you plug into the machine. It plugs in on the side. Okay? And I want you to hear the difference on startup, because these two machines sound a lot different when you go to turn them on. The Cameo's a lot quieter. So if we're going to turn it on, the power button's on the side. That's it. It's on. It's turned on. And it has a LED lighting here. And it has an LED control switch right here. So that's the feed in, and that's the feed out button. And then that's the Bluetooth button. Okay? So now when you tap this button, the feed in the mat, it has a timer that will automatically start ticking. So if you're not very good at lining up your mat in the beginning, don't worry, because Cameo has you covered. Okay? So when you go to feed in your mat, you see how I tap that button? If you're not really quite sure on where to put it, Cameo has an auto feed in sensor that will automatically feed your mat in when you put it in correctly. Okay? So there's the mat. We're going to put it in this way. You see those two little lines? We're going to line it up correctly. And when you line it up correctly, the Cameo will automatically feed it in for you. Okay? You see how it caught that? And then to release, you just hit the back button and it pops it out. But if you want to feed it in yourself, which I do more often than not, I feed it in myself because I just like to do that. That's just what I like to do. I like to feed it in myself. So I will hold it in place, hit the feed in button, and that's it. Now, one of the biggest downfalls of this machine is while it is cutting, it is very loud. Okay? Very loud. I do not recommend the Cameo for late night crafting. It's not meant for that. Okay? The Cameo is not meant for late night crafting because it's very loud. And I'm a late night crafter. So a lot of times I try to do my EcoSolvent prints during the day before my kids go to sleep because the machine is just that loud. Okay? Let's look at some comments real quick because I'm getting ready around out of time and I want to make sure. Does a Cameo do chipboard? I'm pretty sure it probably does. Yes, the Cameo does cut louder. Good morning, good morning. I'm missing so many comments. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, it is very loud. Which Cameo? This is the Cameo 4 Pro. It's the 24-inch cutter. Yeah, so it's very loud. Compared to the Cricut Maker, it's a lot louder than the Cricut. But even with it on, Alexa, stop. Even with the machine on, Alexa, stop. You hear that buzzing noise? That's the machine powered on. It's like a slight buzz. So, and I kind of expect it to be a little bit louder because the machine is bigger, of course. It's a bigger cutting machine. So I expect it to be a little bit louder, but it is kind of loud. Now, let's go ahead. And one thing I do like about the Cameo, it came with its own little feet. So these are the feet that you put in. Because you see those rollers inside of there? You can place your rolls of vinyl in here. So with the Cameo, no matter what material, you have the option to cut without a mat. Okay? Very good. Off rip, you can use a mat or not use a mat. Doesn't matter what material. It doesn't have to be a certain type of material to cut off a mat. That's one thing I loved about the Cameo. Because no matter what, it will hold my vinyl. And you can adjust the wheels for how thick or small your roll of vinyl is. Okay? Very nice. Love it, love it, love it. So, when you go to insert your pieces, this piece right here actually slides to adjust to the width of your roll of vinyl. Okay? So, this thing is absolutely amazing. Like, I love this thing. I use the Cameo more than my Cricut now. Cricut Design Space is looking more and more unfamiliar each day. So, I will slide it down, place my vinyl down, feed it through, and go on about my business. Okay? Super easy. And it fits no matter the size of HTV or permanent vinyl you are using. It will fit and adjust automatically. Okay? And it also has this right here if you're using a mat. This is a guide that helps keep your mat more level, so it helps with cutting more accurately. And this also does slide to adjust to what you need to slide it to. Okay? Now this machine was this is the $500 cutting machine. So keep that in mind when you go to budgeting and pricing. This bad boy is $500. Okay? Now, one of the newest things I just found out my Cameo even does, it has a cutter. So it Oh, you can't hear me? Hold on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't know what happened. Okay, you can hear me now. All right. So, I don't know. My phone acts crazy sometimes. But there's a cutter on the back of your machine that I didn't know about until recently. So, when you pull that lever down, this little piece right here actually cuts off your extra vinyl from behind your machine. If you're cutting a long way, you can cut that off. And then you can lock it back in place so it doesn't interfere with you cutting. Now, if you want to cut your vinyl prematurely, this is the way to do it. You would just measure it out to 13, and then you can just cut it off. Super easy. So I did not know that was there until I watched a TikTok video, and I was like, no way. Yes, way. It is on the back of there. So there is the Cameo 4 Pro. So I will get more into actual software at a later time. I will set a date up for classes that I will do live for the Cameo and for the Cricut also. So this is the Cameo 4 Pro. I use the Epson 15,000 for Eco Solvent with my Cameo. Okay? That's the Epson 15,000. And down there is my Epson 2720 for sublimation. Okay? So this prints 13 by 19 on the back tray. Okay? So that's the Cameo 4 Pro. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. And we're going to switch out and we're going to put the Cricut up here. So let me put you back on my little mount while I get my Cricut machine out here. Any questions? Did I miss anything? Any questions so far while I get my Cricut Maker out? All right, so let me put this back up. So I leave Big Boy out all the time because this is his table. So I have a specific table for this cutting machine. And the table I got off of Amazon. Okay, so let me move Big Boy back. His nickname is Big Boy because he's heavy too. So I gotta walk him backwards because he's very, very heavy. Okay, so let's pull out the Cricut Maker 3. Now this is the Maker 3. I have both the Maker and the Maker 3. This is the Maker 3 by Cricut. So it's a lot smaller, as you can see. It's a lot smaller than the Cameo. But this is the machine that I started off with when I first started cutting was Cricut. When I first started cutting, it was Cricut. I had the Cricut Explorer Air 2. It was a lot bigger. Actually, it was a little bit wider than this one. Not by much though, but this is the Cricut Maker 3. This can actually cut off and on a mat. Off a mat, it can cut 13 inches wide. On a mat, it's the standard 12 inch. Okay. Automatically, you see the difference. You see these prongs right here. That lets you know exactly where to put your mat at. It's foolproof. You know exactly where it goes. It goes right there. And actually has 2 holders on the side that keep your mat in place. So that's one thing I do like above the Cameo. Okay. So the Cameo does not have a lot of holders, probably because I got the machine that was like super big. So it's a lot bigger. So they're like, look, you have to hold your own mat. Hold your own mat. If you're going to buy me, you got to hold your own mat. Let me look at the comments. Make sure I don't miss anything. I have this. So lost. How to use it. Oh, Lord. Can we get some likes? Yes. Which do you like better, the Cameo or Cricut? If I can go back to when I first started crafting and choose my first machine over again, I would probably still pick the Cricut. I would still pick the Cricut. Cricut is great for those who are starting off, but if you plan on doing a lot of customization, then you should go with the Cameo. But I do not regret getting the Cricut first. I really don't. I love my Cricut machine. I still use it. I like them both kind of equally. I just got my Maker 3, exact same one. Nice. I do have a one-on-one sessions available. I had to watch the trading video offered by Silhouette several times to figure it out. Listen, their videos are very, very vague. How wide is the print and cut? On which one? So Cricut, they updated their print to cut. I think you can almost do 8x10 now. Which I'm like, yawn. Get better, Cricut. Yawn. Yawn. I don't do a lot of print and cut on Cricut except for making like my stickers for the bottom of my tumblers. I print these on my Cricut. But that's about it. That's how I can fit 12 to a sheet though. So I'm not really worried about it. So I don't do a lot of print and cut on my Cricut. So this is the Cricut machine. I like it because it's fully enclosed inside the machine compared to Silhouette. It has that small little gap underneath. I feel a lot more safer with this dropping than with that dropping. I'm not going to go and drop it, nothing like that. But when you flip the top open, that pops down. Now you have extra storage down here for your extra holders and blades and things of that nature. Silhouette has that also where Slimer is. That part slides out and you can put an extra blade in there. But they do not have a lot of storage like Cricut does for your blades on the Cameo or even the side pocket like the Cricut does. Okay? So you can actually have, it has holders right here. You can put different tools and things like that. But the Cameo only has one slot for like one blade and that's it. So storage on the machine is absent on the Cameo compared to the Cricut. You have a lot of storage space here and a lot of storage space here. And this slit right here is actually meant to hold your iPad in place while you are cutting on the machine. Okay? There's a slot right there. Let me grab my mat. There's a slot right here that will hold your iPad just like that while you're printing and using the Cricut machine. Okay? That's one of the newer features they added with the makers. So you can hold your iPad right there while you print and cut or do whatever you need to do on your Cricut machine. So therefore you can just tap, 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 load it up and go. Now, one of the bad things I don't like about the Maker is that you cannot feed the machine in before it's time to feed it in. And I know on the older Cricut machines you could, but on the Makers, now you cannot. So that's one thing I wish they would bring back. I like that feature of pre-feeding it in before actually using it, but now you don't have that option with the Maker 3 anymore. And I kind of miss that option. Let me go in front of you real quick. You plug this in so you can hear how loud the Maker 3 is compared to the Cameo. Power on. So it's a longer process for it to power on. You see it went all the way down and came back, but it's turned on and it's ready to go. Okay? Like I said, there's no auto feed with the Cricut Maker. You have to wait until it prompts you to feed the mat in That's the only thing I wish that Cricut would bring back because they had it when they had the older models of the Cricut machine. That's one thing I do miss about the Cricut machine doing the early feed in. How do you download Silhouette to iPad for free? They have an app for Silhouette for iPad, but it's not very good. So I would not suggest downloading it to your iPad. It's not very good. Let me put my phone case on real quick. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so sorry. So the Silhouette apps are not very good. But of course the Cricut has the app for your phone and for your iPad. Which do you like better, Cricut or Cameo? I'm still going to go with the Cricut. I like the Cricut. I've used it longer. I know more about the Cricut. I only use the Cameo for one thing, and that's print to cut. But now the software, we'll get into the cutting machine. I like the Cricut cutting machine. Software, I like the Silhouette Studio software. Because the Cricut apps are a lot better. The Cameo apps are absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. They're trash. So I missed it because I got a call. I will post this to YouTube so you guys can go back and rewatch later. But this is the Cricut. So I like it. It's very nice. I like the Cricut machine. The extra storage is a must, and their devices are cross compatible. So it doesn't matter if you have a Mac or a HP, and you have an Android phone or an iPhone. I do have a YouTube channel. Yes, I do. So I like Cricut because they're more precise when it comes to their programming. And I like their programming a lot better than Cameo because the app for the Cameo for the iPad is absolute garbage. Don't download it. It's trash. You can only do SVG files. You can't do nothing else with their app. So sorry I missed it again because I've gotten a call. Thanks for answering. You're good. Yes, you can use your Silhouette software with your Cricut. Absolutely. But it's harder. I've heard it's harder to go from Cricut to Silhouette than it is from Silhouette to Cricut. But like I said, I don't do vinyl with my Silhouette. I only do print and cut. So I wouldn't know because I don't use it for vinyl. I don't use it for vinyl, so I wouldn't know. So, is there any other questions? Anything else you guys want to see from both machines before we get off of here? Definitely gonna have to do a part 2 because I want to go into the design software and get into epoxy and Crystalac next time. So next Tuesday will be What's the Difference part 2. Thank you for the roses. Appreciate it so much. Yay. Finger heart. Thank you so much. So I definitely will get into part 2 next Tuesday because I want to get and break down both of the softwares between Cricut Design Space and Silhouette Studio because Silhouette Studio will blow your mind. If you're very comfortable with Adobe Photoshop, the Silhouette Studio will be perfect for you because it looks just like Photoshop. So if you're used to Photoshop, thank you for the roses. Thank you for the likes and the hearts. So if you use Photoshop, Silhouette Studio will look great for you. Very informative. Thank you for sharing. You're absolutely welcome. She said, "Please, I need some Silhouette help." Now, like I said, I don't use Silhouette for vinyl. I only use it for print and cut. So my knowledge about their software is still very limited. But whatever I know, I will gladly share it with you. But it's not. I don't know much. Which EcoSolvent HTV do you use? I use the Scissor Color Print Easy. What time you be on here for epoxy versus Crystalac difference? That is Tuesday. So next Tuesday, here's my schedule. So tomorrow is Social Media 101 for Power Hour. Monday is Why You Need Canva. This is next week, the 23rd. That Tuesday, the 24th, will be What's the Difference Part 2. We will go into epoxy versus Crystalac first, and then we'll get into the Cricut Design Space and Silhouette Studio. So Tuesday, the 24th, will be What's the Difference Part 2. Okay? And if we need a Part 3, we will do a Part 3 that following week. Okay? Wednesday is my mom. She's a special guest for Wednesday. Balance and Keep Going is what her topic is for Wednesday. You don't want to miss it. Thursday is Shopify 101. So everything Shopify will be discussed on Thursday. And then Friday will be creating mock-ups and why mock-ups are important for your business. She said, OMG, this is exactly what everyone needs. If you do it during these, I will be back at work. It will be on my YouTube channel. Yes, every single previous Power Hour and from here on will be on my YouTube channel. I made a playlist strictly for Power Hours and I labeled them the same as they are on here. So you can easily find it. Yep, so every morning, Monday through Friday, let me run through my schedule one more time. I'm going to go over time just a little bit. It's okay. It's my party. I can do what I want. So for Power Hour, my Power Hours are Monday through Friday, 8:15 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, okay? I live in Missouri, so I'm on Central Standard Time. So Monday through Friday, 8:15 to 9:15 Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday is Power Hour, okay? Now on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings from 7:30 to 9:30, I am live on TikTok for 2 hours doing crafting, okay? So that's also when you can come in and just chat with me, chill, ask questions if you need to. Just got here. What are we talking? What are we talking next week? Yes, we are. We're talking every day, Monday through Friday from 8:15 to 9:15. I will go over those topics again for next week. OMG, thank God I found you. Where do you place the 15-minute mat again for print to cut? So, I will go into message me and we can talk back and forth. because I really want to get these topics out. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to hit this most important things first, and then we'll go back to do that in depth. I gotta figure out my camera angle so I can show you guys a lot better. So I gotta get with my tech support, aka my husband, to get some more camera stands so where we can actually do things a lot better. Oh, okay. Let's see. I want to miss any statements or questions. Okay, so let's go over it one more time. So tomorrow's Power Hour will be Social Media 101 from 8:15 to 9:15 Central Standard Time. I am live every morning, Monday through Friday, for Power Hour in the morning. Okay. Next week, the week of the 23rd, that Monday, I'm going to tell you why you need Canva. Okay. Why you need Canva is Monday the 23rd. Okay. Tuesday, the 24th, is What's the Difference Part 2. We're going to get into epoxy and Crystalac, and then we're going to get into Design Space and Silhouette Studio. Will you show us your camera setup and talk about editing, etc. on a live? Sure. I'm still figuring out my cameras and stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely. Wednesday is my mom. She's a guest speaker for that week. Wednesday, she will be teaching on balance and keep going. Okay? Wednesday, you don't want to miss it. If you're having trouble balancing between business, personal, and things like that, you don't want to miss next Wednesday. 8:15 a.m., 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. How do I find you for these sessions? What platform? Right here on TikTok. Right here on TikTok. You already talked about, yes, we already discussed EcoSolvent, but don't worry, I will post this to YouTube. It will be up this weekend. This is God's will because it appears on my For You page. Yay! Heart, love, yes. I agree 100%. Because when I started crafting, no one was sharing information about anything. I had to figure all this out by myself. So I took a lot of L's. Next Thursday, Shopify 101. Okay? If you're trying to move off of Etsy or you want to get a website, you don't want to miss next Thursday's Shopify 101. Okay? Shopify 101. Friday of next week, I'm going to teach you how to create mockups for your business. Shirt mockups, Tumblr mockups, period, for your website and why they are important to use. Okay? All right, let's go through one more time. Next week, the week of the 23rd, Monday, why you need Canva. Okay? Tuesday will be What's the Difference Part 2. Wednesday, Balance and Keep Going with special guest, my mom. She's a minister and author. We'll balance and keep going. Yes, all my power hours will be on YouTube. Are these going to be recorded? They will all be on YouTube, sis. I promise you. All will be on YouTube. I already have a playlist already made. Quick question. How do you prevent EcoSolvent from bleeding? Adjust your ink dry time on your printer. The Epson has a setting where you can actually adjust how long it takes for your ink to dry. So, and then where am I at? Next Thursday, Shopify 101. Next Friday is creating mockups and why they are important. So I'm going to show you how to create mockups for tumblers, t-shirts, all that, mugs, all that, within Canva and also outside of Canva. Name is the same on YouTube. Yes, just drop the 20. So my YouTube name is One Crafting Mama. If you click on that emblem right there and go to my TikTok page and hit on the triangle, it goes straight to my YouTube channel. Or click the link in my bio, straight to my YouTube channel. Thank you for the followers, you guys. So that's the schedule for next week. The week after that, on Memorial Day, hello. I love that blonde hair, girl. Working it. I love me some short blonde hair. So, next weekend after next, on Memorial Day evening, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., my husband will be live. He's my tech support, talking about electronics. So printer issues, laptop issues, how to take care of your laptops, how you know if your laptop has a virus, proper backing up your information, external hard drives, all that stuff. He will be live Memorial Day evening, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., talking about electronics. Okay? Phone care, laptop care, printer settings. He will be talking about all that Memorial evening, 7:30 to 9:30. He will be the special guest for that live stream. Okay? She said, power couple. Yes. We support each other. Okay? Y'all go get you a Malcolm. My husband supports me 100%. Go get y'all a Malcolm. Yes. So, Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day evening, that Monday, 7:30 to 9:30, he will be talking about electronics. Printers, laptops, phones, iPads, how to take care of them and how to keep them up and moving, and different printer settings for sublimation and EcoSolvent, okay? He will be talking about printer settings for both HP and Mac, okay? Because he set mine up. Without him, none of this will be happening, okay? None of this will be happening, all right? So just make sure you tune in for that. So if you're having issues or you want to learn more how to take care of your equipment, because guess what? All this stuff is an investment. You have to take care of your Cricut machines. I oil my Cricut machines almost weekly, bi-weekly. I oil my heat press machines. I make sure I do maintenance on my printers. I do maintenance on my iPad. I do maintenance on my phone. Do maintenance on my laptop, just to make sure they keep up and running, because without these devices, we wouldn't be in business. So make sure you take care of your electronics. You got me crying because you helped me without asking to buy her course. Oh, don't cry, sis. It's all love. It's all love. It's all love. I do it out of love. I know how it felt when I started crafting and no one wanted to help me. So I knew when I got on TikTok and gained the following, I wanted to help people. And that's what I'm here for. You can always ask me questions. I'm up all types tonight. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. So you can always email me at onecraftingmama20@gmail.com if you have any questions. You can message me on Instagram, message me on Facebook. I'm always available. Always available whenever you have a question. Or if you want to just talk, I'm here. Okay? It doesn't have to be about crafting, but if you need to just talk, I'm here. You're amazing. You have no idea how much this means to all of us. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Finger hearts for everybody. That's why you will continue to be blessed. I accept that. I receive that 100%. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, I have next week getting started. This is the next schedule. I haven't made it out yet. So I'm trying to have more special guests come through, more surprise guests come through. But everything can be found on the link in my bio. I'm grateful I found you today. I'm so glad you found me. So let me go ahead and add you as a friend, Grace. I know you have a lot of questions. So let me go ahead and add you as a friend. Okay. So therefore we can talk via TikTok and things like that. Now, if you send me a message on TikTok, sometimes I get the messages, sometimes I don't. Because TikTok is starting to filter out my messages. So just be patient. If you don't get a response within 24 to 48 hours, please email me, because that means that TikTok hid your message. I don't know why it happens. It just happens like that sometimes. Okay. So if I don't respond within 24 to 48 hours, just email me. Okay. Just email me. So glad you guys are here with me. I appreciate you guys coming through. We will do What's the Difference Part 2 next Tuesday. But tomorrow is Social Media 101. You don't want to miss tomorrow's Power Hour. Okay. We went a little bit over today, but I had to get that out. Get that off my chest. So until next time, my crafting brothers and sisters, I will see you again. Do you have an LLC or trademark your name? I have an LLC. But one more plug. I'm sorry. One more plug and I'm going to get off of here. So I had a Let's Get Legal business class that I did a Zoom class for that. That class will be available for purchase, digital download, by this weekend. Okay. If you are part of my text alerts, you will get a text alert for that when it drops to be available for purchase, because it was a paid class because I had to pay my speaker. So you guys got to pay for it. I'm sorry. But it's worth every single penny, because there's a lot of great information that was inserted into that video. So you need it. If you're starting a business, want to get it legal, you need to get that video. She talked about a lot of great stuff for that 2 hours. It's a lot.